Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So let's start off with Xander and Sarah. Sarah confronts Xander that, hey, you're the kidnapper. It just makes sense that you kidnap Bonnie and Susan out of money. The story that he told, oh, your boss told you to do something unethical and you decided to walk away and the fact that they were both well, at least Bonnie. Bonnie and Susan was both held in the karaoke shed, which makes sense because, he used to work there as a gardener and stuff. So she's pretty much just like, all this stuff adds up. You need to sit there and tell me what you're doing. And of course, Xander has just now become the worst liar on the planet. I don't know what this guy's lying skills was back then, but whatever it was, I'm just there looking like, all right. So, what's your story? And you ever just watch somebody lie and you're just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, not that anyone should be good at lying, but it's like you're doing a fantastic job at failing. So they talk about Redneck's company. I think that's the name of Redneck something, which sounds like a very offensive name. But and Sarah's like, well, listen, Vic never heard of it. No one's never heard of this company. And so she's like, all right, I'm going to look it up. And Xander's like, all right, well, you go right ahead and look it up. Sit there thinking at this point, why would you try to look up a company that you know isn't real? Like at that point, I thought it would have just made more sense to just come clean. Like, all right, listen, I'm going to be honest. It's not a real company, and I did do all those things, but I did it for you, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? I don't understand why he goaded her into having her look it up. Now, when she looked it up, of course, the website was there. And I sat there and I was just like, I wrote out, because I always, like write notes and stuff like that. I wrote out that, yep, she's going to find a company. And of course, the company, because at first I was like, well, who would actually make a fake website for him? It's not like he has any real like IT guys or anything like that. So I was like, of course it's going to be her. So she looked it up. It was real. And of course, it was going. I knew the minute that website came up, I was like, "Yep." Well, on top of the fact that Gwen was sitting there working on something, and when Jack walked in, she slammed it really fast and was like, "Oh well, I'm working on a story, this, that, and the third," and I knew it was that. So of course, when Xander called Gwen, he was like, "Yeah, I thought I was toast and stuff like that." But then she looked up this website and it was real, and she was like, "Yeah, no, you're welcome." And it was like it was one of those things. It was like this didn't even remotely surprise me. And I think it's also because I've been watching a lot of TV for many years, so there's only a certain amount of things that will surprise me at this point. Now, of course, like I said, Gwen was not there talking to Jack about the Paulina story and if she should run it or not, and fact checks, and Chad telling her not to do it, and which I was like, listen, it's a good idea. You got the spectators' reputation on the line. You got to make sure everything is good and cross your T's and your I's and stuff. But Jack was like, listen, he works in PR. Okay, and PR and newspapers and reporters and stuff like that have been clashing for years. So don't just, what I'm saying? Like, don't sit on this story just because he said so. But of course, she has her own issues with Sloan because of what Sloan did to her with Leo. Like Jack said, yo, listen, you're in Salem. It happened in Salem. You're gonna have inside. You're gonna have the best. You're gonna be in the best position. On top of that, you got the stuff from Sloan. Uh, Now EJ hears something in the bushes, and Ava jumps out, and she's all like, "Oh, your mommy's dead, and this, that, and the third, and I got you back." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." All right, Ava, yeah, you got him back in the most cowardly way possible. You kidnapped his mom and you ran off the bridge because you had no other options and you knew you were screwed. Yeah, but let's sit there and try to puff up your chest like you did something super amazing. So at this point, she has a gun to him. And she's talking about, oh, well, you're going to be dead or whatever. Because, EJ is smashed, okay? And he doesn't know if she's real or if she's not real. And, it looks like at one point, she's about to pull the trigger. But of course, he's so close that you just see that he's going to sit there and try to stop her. Now, Chad and Tony are sitting there worried about him. And of course, Tony's like, listen, you can't say anything. And he wants to make sure because of the whole Abigail thing. This goes back to EJ's comment when talking about Marlena. Talking to Marlena about, once again, he thought he knew it was best, and he didn't loop people in, and somebody else has to sit there and pay the price. But Chad's like, nah, it's cool, he saved my life, so it's all good. They get a call from Rafe, and then they realize where EJ is, so they go there. Meanwhile, EJ, grabs Ava and, a shot goes off. But when they get there, he's on the ground. Now, they're just looking at this whole thing like, I didn't know if it was real or not. That's something that they kept me guessing. Because, again, he's drunk as hell. But, Ava's covered in dirt. It's possible. Who knows? And so when they get there, he's on the ground. He has a cut on his head because he, hit his head and stuff like that. But he gets up, and you can see that he doesn't have, a bullet on him, bullet wounds or anything like that. When they leave, there's a bullet casing on the ground. So obviously, Ava got shot. Now, at first, I thought it was going to be EJ that got shot. That's something that I give him a lot of points for that because I didn't see. It kept me guessing. And I love that. After Stephanie, I'm gonna be honest, watching Stephanie and Alex kiss after a while, I'm like, bro, I'm eating and I'm feeling nauseous. Can we just like move past that? When Maggie came in, I was like, thank God. Um, Now Maggie was like talking about Bonnie and how she was, she was still shaking up, and I'm just like, Bonnie was overreacting like there was no tomorrow. I don't feel bad for her in the slightest. Yeah, it sucks. Don't get me wrong, it sucks getting kidnapped. It sucks having somebody threaten your life. Okay, but the way she was overreacting to the whole thing, it like made me not care. Um, so that happens. Talk about that. And then they talk about, Maggie's theory as far as, because they're talking about Susan and Ava and Trip and stuff like that. And Maggie's like, Sarah Smith is saying that um, Xander might have kidnapped Susan and Bonnie, given everything, and, given all the reasons he would have to do that. But Maggie was like, well, I thought it wasn't possible and everything, like I told Sarah, like, yo, it's not that big of a deal. Because she was like, Sarah was thinking, and she tried to, that's where I said that, calm her nerves. I felt like I was about to say something else and it just would have came out really stupid. But when she leaves, now she got Stephanie and um Alex. I just didn't think about his name for a minute. Alex, thinking that, Xander might have actually done it given the reasons. Oh, and this is something else that Sarah was saying. When Sarah was talking about the text message, whoever kidnapped Sarah mustn't, whoever kidnapped Bonnie must have knew intimate knowledge about her as far as like what with Bonnie, like as far as Mimi, her daughter and everything like that, saying, oh, well, I gotta go see Mimi and yada yada yada. But of course, now that Sarah saw the website, now she's all guilty. That's another thing. Sarah was sitting there trying to play victim, like, oh, I can't believe you would sit there and think that about me, that me being a changed man. I'm so hurt. Now she finds out, well, now she thinks that the website is real, and she feels all guilty and apologetic and, remorseful and everything. And when Xander goes out there to make the call to Gwen, she looks at the website again, and then she closed the laptop. Now, I will give him that much. It's a slow burn. It's not. It's a good. It's a. I don't mind having stories drag out a little bit. I mean, well, not drag out, but just take their time. I don't mind a story taking their time. Okay. With YNR, it takes too long, and with GH, well, they have too many characters, so unfortunately, it drags out mostly because they have so many characters. But with Days, they know how to utilize their cast, and hey, listen, this person isn't really doing too much of anything. Let's, let's shelve them from that. So this story taking its time, with EJ and Susan and Ava and stuff like that, and Xander, and so it's worth the wait to sit there and build up to that conclusion for the most part. Now I know with Clyde and stuff, um, I know with Clyde, some people felt like the build up wasn't really worth it. I personally enjoyed it. It made sense. Um, when you really thought about it, it made sense, so it worked for me. And I'm looking forward to this conclusion because I saw those previews. They got so much more good stories to sit there and tell that I'm very, very, very excited. So, when they finally conclude that, I still don't understand how they got Victoria, whatever her last name that I can't pronounce, back. Because the way that she left, the thing is, this isn't her first time that she had problems with the contract or contract negotiations, stuff like that. She's wanted to leave so many times. Okay. So when she finally left, like for the last time, I was like, thank goodness. I mean, no, I think she's a great actress. Her character was at times could be annoying, especially her and Ben. Oh my god, I felt like they were like the worst. But I'm just like, if this actress isn't happy being there, then leave. You know, I don't want to ever sit there and watch a show and have a character that just doesn't want to be there because it's going to take me out of whatever fantasy that I'm in while I'm enjoying that story. So the fact that they got her back, I'm like, I don't know what kind of magic, voodoo, or whatever that Days got going on, but I'm here for it. Yeah, I feel like that's about it for the most part. I don't think I missed um too much stuff, or I feel like I got all the pertinent information covered. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next video.